How's it going, YouTubers? So as discussed in a previous video on the 4-inch NLBN paddle tail shrimp, I picked up some 5-inch swim baits by two different companies. The first company is R&R Tackle. Just checking these baits out, high quality. We'll go over some jig head molds and how to rig these because I was kind of lost, for the lack of better terms, on how these rigged, just looking at them on videos of people trying to use them. I'm going to do another video a little later on a product review for NLBN 5-inch paddle tails. But again, this is the R&R Tackle slide bait. I picked up the 5-inch. They do offer a 3-inch, 5-inch, and 6-inch. I think 3-inch for what I'm trying to tackle, more focusing on Texas Jetties, Galveston Jetty, Freeport Jetty. By the way, me and a buddy are going to go out to Freeport Jetty on Friday, Surfside. Been wanting to go out there for a while. I'm definitely going to check that out. But, you know, jetty fishing, jetty fishing is jetty fishing. You get out to deeper water, bluer water, cleaner water, bigger fish. So again, I'm here focusing on some bigger slide baits, some bigger artificials. Nothing wrong with live bait, but I do love rigging and tying your own artificial. There's just something about catching fish on an artificial. So you guys and gals, can't forget the gals out there, future fishermen of the world, take a kid fishing. Don't forget that. And again, I'm not a YouTube creator. I just do this for fun. Like and subscribe. You know, I hear that like and subscribe all the time, but I mean, it is what it is. Like it for sure. That's easy. Subscribe, that's a different story. But let's jump into this. Again, these are R&R Tackle slide baits. Picked up the 5-inch in all of these baits. I follow a guy, Beach Bomber Fishing, and saw some pretty good fish caught on this color. So again, other fishermen review, other fishermen buy. But I was a little taken back by this bait, just watching videos of how this thing is rigged. I picked up a couple pre-rigged, comes with the jig head and the hooks. So you get 2 baits, 2 jig heads, 2 hooks. Like I said, I picked up that color. A little bit of extra, maybe overzealous, we'll find out. Tackle is built to catch fishermen, not to catch fish. But I've seen some pretty good things on this. Done my research on YouTube, so I invested the money. And y'all know fishing lures ain't cheap. But this bait and this hook, there is a hole right here. That's your line tie. And what happens is, once you rig this hook, it sits inside that jig head. And again, I was a little confused myself, but now that it's in my hand, I understand this concept. So once the fish hits this bait, that hook separates and you've got the fish directly to the line, not the fish directly to the bait. Imagine seeing an eye right there. May make a difference, may not, but we're gonna put it to the test. But anyways, I picked up a couple different colors. They don't really list the colors on the box, but typical mullet color out here, anywhere, East Coast, West Coast, Gulf Coast, mullet run everywhere. Maybe not West Coast, seeing a lot of sardines but no mullet. But I picked up a couple of those baits. You've got the kind of glow eye holographic material. We'll get into the jig heads that I purchased. So far it looks like good quality, but again, if you pick up just a single pack or double pack, you'll get the jig heads and the hooks. Was wondering about that myself. But let me show y'all some of these other baits, or other jig heads, if you will. Get that back right. Again, we went over the purple and black. I did pick up the white, automatic go-to color. Anybody who knows fishing, white is just a go-to color. The orange jig head, or white jig head, if you will, with the orange accent on its face. Pretty good construction. We'll definitely see how these eyes hold up. We know that the glue they use, typically what happens is the eyes are the first thing to go. But we're going to put it to the test. Freeport Jetty on Friday. Maybe we'll put some in the cooler. Redfish, specks, flounder. And again, I wouldn't hesitate a nice sized flounder or a decent sized gator trout to hit that. I mean, I really wouldn't. Again, that's why I went to 5-inch. It's kind of that in-between, that multi-medium bait. 6-inch, I think, is a little bit big for what I want to throw. But all around, I think maybe a versatile bait, at least in the size. So let's cover the jig heads. I will say that the R&R Tackle slide bait heads that I picked up in a 1.5 ounce, the construction of the actual packaging is a lot better than the 1 ounce. And I don't know what that, I don't know why, I don't. These are cheap plastic bags. One of them I got here busted out the side already, but I don't know that I'd store that in a tackle box. But I will say, R&R Tackle, if you see this, maybe switch over to these type packaging, more tougher. I could throw it in a tackle bag, tackle box. I don't know that I'd want to keep that in the longevity of keeping such amount of baits that I bought, you know. So just something to talk about. Yeah, a little bit different packaging in each of these. I would have liked to see that type packaging. We all know what that looks like. Pretty tough, pretty durable, pretty good Ziploc seal on that. But anyways, these are the white, all around good color. Can be paired with purple, I'd say. Purple, black, any color. So again, looking at just the baits, and again, you got 2 jig heads and 2 hooks, right? No swim baits. Like I said, I ordered the purple and black and swim baits. I think that's going to be a good color, but there again, I may be a little bit overzealous. But all right, so screw type, jig head. They send a hook with it, inline hook. Very sharp, I will say. Good barb. But this hook, if y'all can see that, goes in that little kind of, I don't know, slot, if you will. And you've also got a hole in the top of that jig head. So you'll run your line through that hole and tie your hook out here, if you will. Rig your bait. Well, I take that back. Your bait ain't got to be rigged. Let's crack on a white one. Your bait's rigged to the jig head. Let me get a plain one here. Bear with me. Plain one, right? Plain, plain, plain. If you buy plain, plain, and plain. And again, you got a hook with your jig head, right? Little snafu, drop the hook. Don't want to step on that. All right, so again, jig head hook. You can buy the separate baits. All right. Insert. And hell, let's just go on and do it now. They've got a center dot. Can't mess that up. Center dot. And then screw this bad boy on. So let's say for the first time, again, a little tension with your thumb and forefinger. Keep that bait centered. And there it is. I'm satisfied with that rig. And that's the first time I've done that. But what happens is this hook sits in this slot, like so. And again, your line goes through here, other end of your tag line gets tied, and then when you pull that through on a pre-rigged bait, that hook sits in that slot. And the purpose of this is why I purchased it, and it's new to me, maybe new to you guys, is what do they call this? Forgive me. Slide bait, right? Slide bait. Fish bites, hopefully, maybe, maybe not, we'll see, separates to where the fish is out here and your bait's up here, which I have seen that done on these baits. But I'm impressed. Durable bait. And I like these baits just because of the versatility, right? Keeping up with the times, technology, that's what we do. I've got tens of thousands of dollars worth of tackle. Does all of it work? No. Will this work? We'll see, right? But again, pay for what you get. But I like the construction. I like the overall appeal, right? Not a whole lot passes up a paddle tail. All right, so we're going to check it out. I'm going to leave that pre-rigged. Throw it back in the box with the separate tails that I purchased. Ain't no need in undoing that, right? It's all plastics. This is all plastics. We don't want to mess it up. But I'll throw the hook and the other hook back in that packaging that it came with. I did pick up, again, these are 1.5 ounces. I think are more than adequate at a jetty. Even surf fishing. Got to wade out there maybe catch some specks, some jacks, definitely some redfish. I did pick up the 1 ounce baits in the purple black. Again, I think 5-inch can be paired with a 1 ounce, 1.5 or 2 ounce jig head. So there's the 1.5 ounce, or I'm sorry, 1 ounce, and maybe a 4/0, maybe 5/0 hook with that. Again, got a slot, got a screw pin, got a hole in your head, hole in their head, and that's how it sits. So we're definitely gonna try this out. Again, me and a buddy are gonna run to Freeport, Surfside Jetty. Heard a lot of things, seen a lot of videos, so we're gonna check that out. And, you know, check it out. You know, you got to get out and try different baits. I will say that R&R Tackle, they did send a free package. They sent some, I don't know, all pearl white, kind of sandy color, little paddle tail, or I won't say paddle tail, kind of split tail baits. And they sent me 1/4 ounce jig heads to go with that. Same concept, kind of screw type jig heads. Free is free. Although, you know, ain't nothing really free at the end of the day. So at least you get a little bonus there. Might try that. I don't see why that wouldn't work, right? Definitely don't see why that wouldn't work. Pretty decent all around, good color. R&R Tackle, check them out. Like I said, we're gonna put it to the test. And maybe, just maybe, if we get some decent footage, I'll post those videos of these actual baits in use, right? I've seen these baits in use. Slide baits, you probably heard about them. Check them out. Invest some money. Maybe don't go over crazy like I did, but you know, that's what I do. I'm fisherman die hard. So again, take a kid fishing. Like and subscribe. Not a content creator by no means. I just like getting out, like fishing. Picked up a GoPro. Thought I'd check it out. Got a random hook somewhere, but anyways, we'll get to that a little later. But yeah, man. Do what you do. Again, picked up the white, purple, and black, which I've definitely seen nice redfish caught on. And then an all-around black mullet color, maybe an overcast color. White definitely is a sunny color for me. I like the darker colors in overcast. When a fish looks up on a cloudy background, that'll definitely stand out, and so will that. But all right, y'all, be cool. YouTube, it is what it is. See y'all on the next run.